Let's go back to our top story now, the indirect peace talks between Israel and Hamas that started on Monday night. Marwan Bishara is Al Jazeera's senior political analyst. He joins us from Paris. Marwan, imagine if we do get to point 20 of this plan. It's a very long way off, but imagine if we do. What does that mean for the future of Hamas?
Did you say point 20?
If we get there...
I don't have that kind of imagination, unfortunately, Imran. I don't think we're going to ever get to point 20. I'm not sure we're going to get to point 3 or 4. You know, point 1, as you know, is all about the de-radicalization of Gaza. Point 1 is the de-radicalization of Gaza. Does anyone know what it means to de-radicalize Gaza? What does it really entail? Do they need guides? Do they need new books, new curricula? Do they need to love Israel? Do they need to love the Jewish state? Do they need to adore Netanyahu? We don't know what it means, right? And we don't know who's going to be the judge if Gaza is de-radicalized. And we're just on point 1. Now, clearly there's going to be movement on the captives and the prisoners and the exchange, because that's what really Trump and Netanyahu want. Beyond that point, beyond the point of the exchange of prisoners, which is apparently is also a bit of, facing some difficulty, but probably it will be achieved. Beyond that, everything is up for grabs.
I mean, you say this, you say everything is up for grabs, but you also then say, look, we're not going to get to point 20. Is the reason that we are not going to get to point 20 the fact that there was a distinct lack of Palestinian input into this plan?
Well, absolutely. I mean, the Palestinians were not party at all. Hamas was informed about it through the intermediary, right? The Palestinian authorities, or the PLO, is not at all part of anything. They're sort of relegated to, I don't know, point to God knows zillion, and no one cares what they think and where they stand and what have you. So the Palestinians are not part of this. This is a deal that was worked out among Netanyahu and his minions in Washington, and his fellow billionaires and so on. And then it was shared and revised with Netanyahu. So this is an American-Israeli plan. There were some contribution by Arab and Muslim majority countries' leaders that were good additions to the plan that revised a good number of things. For example, they mentioned Jerusalem. They mentioned the occupied West Bank. They mentioned Israeli withdrawal. They talked about guarantees for a Palestinian state. But by the time Netanyahu finished revising, all of these things were already out of the document. So the document now, as it stands, there is a very clear, parameters about how to do or when to release the prisoners or the captives and so on. And then beyond that, everything's ambiguous. There are no timelines. There are no signposts. There is no calendar. There are no dates. See, back for example, in 1991, 1993, and even after that, there were deadlines. There were specific frameworks. There were agreements between two parties, like between the PLO and Israel, 5 years. And then each and every agreement had deadlines and so on and so forth. Now, Israel did not respect any of it, but at least there were deadlines. In this plan, there are no deadlines. It's just all ambiguous and dependent on, at the end of the day, on President Trump.
So effectively what you're saying is that, there are no deadlines here, so it could fall to pieces at any moment. But a plan is better than no plan, surely.
Not really, no, not really. Not when the plan is meant to be about the condition for Palestinian surrender and for, making the idea of a Palestinian state an ambition rather than a basic right for the Palestinian people. This plan basically puts the Palestinians where they were prior to 1993. You remember 1993 and the Oslo Accords that were signed in Washington in September 13, 1993. They recognized the PLO as the representative of the Palestinian people. Hence, the idea of the Palestinian political collective was recognized. Now, in the 20-point plan, there is no Palestinian collective to be recognized. They are not partners to this agreement. Hamas is meant to be only for phase 1, And beyond that, it surrenders, it's supposed to disarm and disappear from the governing of Gaza. So, look, the important thing about this plan, there's no doubt, is the ceasefire part, because all Palestinians, the entire world, in fact, aside from Netanyahu and his fascist partners, want an end to the war. So everyone wants an end to the war. Hamas agreed for half a dozen times the past year to exchange of captives and prisoners and so on and so forth. It was Netanyahu that always undermined that. Well, now Trump comes in with a new plan that says, okay, we're going to get that done. We're going to get our hostages back. I think that will happen because Trump really wants it to happen. But as I said, beyond that, I heard a lot of our guests tonight. I think a lot of people are overblowing or over-exaggerating the disagreement, the differences, the nuances between Netanyahu and Trump. These are allies. Trump is no ally of Hamas, but he is an ally of Netanyahu. And even if they have some tension about certain things or how to go about certain steps, that will be tension among or between allies, not between enemies. In the end of the day, America is Israel's lawyer. And you can imagine there's always tension between a client and his lawyer when it comes to getting a deal done. So there is some tension, but it was always America's best interest in mind when it has tension with the Israeli leaders, not because they have Hamas's best intention in mind, not because they have Palestine's best intentions in mind. So there might be some differences today, and there will be perhaps even more in the future, but it will be over what is best for Israel, not over what is best for Palestine.
And you've laid there completely the idea that lack of Palestinian input into this plan and then no Palestinian collective being involved is a real problem. That's Marwan Bishara there, live for us from Paris. Thank you very much.
Don't miss out. Get the full picture. Subscribe to Al Jazeera for reliable news and expert insights. Like, share, stay ahead.